First on stage is, as you can see here, Mr. Frans Woelders, CEO for Technology and Services, Danske Bank, and also CEO at Specialisterne, Carsten Lassen. Please come and join me. Frans, great pleasure to have you here. We had the small and medium-sized perspective earlier today, and clearly you are representing another kind of organization. But I know that this topic is very close to your heart. Why is this topic so high on your personal agenda?
Yeah, it is about, let's say, reflecting on to do the right thing. It can be for me. It can be as simple as that: doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And doing the right thing in business and being part of society means that how can we combine business interest with individual interest of all consultants from Specialisterne and every neurodivergent people, and how can we combine that with the role in society as well? So I think, well, when that all comes together, I hope it comes together also by being a bank, also for society, and I hope sometimes that's less recognized. But it is actually about doing the right thing. And it is interesting that I just got a message from a former, I wouldn't say it's a colleague, but someone also in an executive team. He's in the US, Sol van Beurden. And it can sometimes be as simple as that. And I see Torkild doing his thumbs up. He sent me a message and he said, I've seen you working in Denmark now, and I have this great experience with a company called Specialisterne. And well, he was sharing how many great things he actually did. And then he said, is it all right if I bring you into contact? And I said, yes, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's also nice. Sometimes it can start with a little spark. And then it's about, I think, persistence and making sure that you actually also do a follow-up.
Yeah. So, Carsten, what does it mean for you to work with top-level executives with this kind of dedication?
Well, it makes all the difference in the world, basically. I mean, we've been working with many companies over the years, and we are really using you as the star example of how it should be done. It's clear that there's this C-level commitment. Basically, I remember I was doing my first presentation, and you said, damn, I want to be on that slide. I was showing the slide with all the companies that we were working with.
Yeah.
and you are on that slide. But this total, well, as I see it, the way you were addressing it in your organization, you said it's not a matter of if we're going to do it, it's a matter of when we're going to do it. So you being so transparent, leading the way, telling your organization, we want this, and even sharing the risk. I think that's the real key to success, that you said, we do this, I take the financial risk, you as managers should run the risk of being different or maybe even better managers. I mean, that is the key to success, the way I see it.
Mm-hmm. And just to let the audience know, 21,000 people works in Danske Bank, and out of this, you are heading 6,500. So that is in itself a huge amount of people. But Frans, how do you make sure that this continues to be high on the agenda with all the employees in the bank?
Yeah, but maybe first of all, I actually feel quite embarrassed if you say we have 21,000 people working, and I think in total we grew to 20 colleagues from Specialisterne, and we are happy to actually be able to hire also some people in the bank. But nevertheless, I think there's work to be done, right? I'm not here to celebrate. Of course, there's a lot of good work, but I think we can do much more. And it's actually this, what I'm also saying is be vocal about it and share the message in your organization. And I think to Carsten's point is make sure that you get rid of the roadblocks, if any, and that you take the burden, but also that you show, let's say, the personal interest into the subject, because people, they will look at what is the tone at the top.
Yeah,
exactly.
But do you think that working with neurodivergence can be a part of generally making a different workplace for everybody? I mean, do you think it can highlight some things that may be of use to the whole organization as such?
Well, we are, and I think it's one of the spin-offs. I see many colleagues here in the room today as well. and I think we're going to hear from some of them as well. But it is about the spin-off you get from this, because it's not charity, right? So we're not here for charity. I think we're here to do the right thing, and that is also doing business and having the right people on board, and then almost having a kind of a wave and a ripple effect in the organization is what is definitely also on my mind. Yeah. And it also requires, because it's definitely not about me. There's many people in my organization supporting this, and of course being vocal every time that they have the opportunity to be somewhere on stage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Carsten, I think you had the pleasure of supplying the two first consultants from Specialisterne to Danske Bank, and as Frans says, more has followed. What is it about their way of working that could be of inspiration to other organizations and other leaders, maybe?
Well, for me, it seems like Danske Bank is having a strategic approach to this. It's just not one here, one here. You are saying we're focusing on it. You have dedicated a team to working with this, and thanks, you are all here. Thank you, everybody. It seems like so you're working more systemically with it, and you're creating communities internally within the bank. So you are eager to create and build internal capacity as a way to really grow the business, and that makes our work so much easier.
Yeah. So Frans, you're a part of the executive team, the absolute top leadership of the bank. Why is executive leadership so important, and support from the leadership so important in this case, even though it's not a lot of employees?
Yeah, so one is actually, is this tone at the top, so that everyone understands why it is important and that you create followership. The other point is about funding, because of course individual teams, they would also say, okay, but how are we going to do this in funding, so that you support as well. And I think it's easier if you're at the top to make the funding available. So that's definitely another point why it's or how to do it, and why the support from the top is important. I think also just remember how it started, right? It started basically with a very simple LinkedIn message. Yeah. And if you connect the executives, I think the rest can follow. Yeah.
Yeah. So Frans, what is your best advice to companies who want to embark on this journey?
Yeah. So first of all, call Carsten.
Of course. Always a good idea, no matter what the question
but
is.
But it's of course absolutely serious. Is because we get so much support from Specialisterne. It's because you cannot expect that everyone is perfect, also in how to handle it, and also for the individuals involved, and some of the colleagues we just heard about before the break. It's not easy, and it's great to have the Specialisterne that work for us, but also the specialists that support them to work together. So I think that is really, really important. And then some of the things I mentioned is make sure you get the funding available. Make sure, what I always call, so go in with both feet, right? Yeah. Don't do kind of hesitant, is this going to work out, is it not going to work out? Just go and do it, and it will happen. And don't think about administrative burdens. What I heard a couple of these things on stage. I think if you want this to happen, you can make it happen. Okay.
And Carsten, your best advice, is that to call Carsten?
Always a good advice. I try to follow it sometimes myself. Doesn't work. No, obviously, I mean, be curious. And many companies think, yeah, I know it works for Danske Bank, I know it works for Novo, but we are so different. Basically, we are not. We're all the same. So trust and be curious. There is so much to be gained. Mm-hmm.
Good. Gentlemen, we're going to dive much more into the details of what you actually do in Danske Bank, but thanks for now. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.